All right, guys. So I got some good news here for you. I would say this is good news, but I don't know how much I buy it, so let's walk through it here. This is in The Independent. Musk wants to leave politics because he's tired of attacks from the left, report says. Speculation of Tesla CEO's possible departure comes as his influence in the administration appears to wane. Now, first thing I think as I read this is, man, there is only one Donald Trump, right? Trump has this amazing ability to, first of all, get everybody's attention all the time. But second of all, to weather attacks in a way that reinforces his cult to support him more. Now, I think Elon was thinking he would be a similar case because he does have a large contingent, certainly on his website, of absolute pathetic simp fanboys, people like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, I think, is the chief among them. Mr. Oh, my little puny brain is nothing compared to Elon Musk, bro. He's so smart, it's like talking to a different kind of creature, bro. Like an alien, bro. So, but what he found, he fucked around and found out the hard way. Bro, nobody likes you. the weirdest, socially maladjusted freaks, right? Those are the ones who are like, gosh, I love Elon so much. Gosh, he owned the libs. So, what he found out, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court race really solidified this, right? Homie is poison to the body politic. He is toxic as hell. He is radiating nuclear waste through every pore of his body. He spent a colossal amount of money trying to get the Republican to win that Supreme Court race in Wisconsin and said the future of Western civilization hinges on this race. And then he lost by double digits. Because people looked at him and they go, ugh, you're disgusting. First of all, just at face value, massively, massively uncharismatic. He has anti-charisma. Just a disgusting, disgusting person to look at and listen to. But more importantly than that, he could not hide the damage he was doing, bro. The damage he was doing, it's immense. Hacking into the back end of the Treasury illegally, stealing everybody's data, slashing pediatric cancer research, slashing Meals on Wheels, gutting Social Security, firing people at the CFPB, firing 50% of the people at the Social Security Administration, cutting 50% of the offices. Like, the stuff that is going on is completely illegal, completely unconstitutional, and has dire negative consequences for this country. Dire. And so people looked at that and there was no way to spin it. When you're massively slashing jobs for veterans, including for disabled veterans, how do you think the public is going to react to that? You now even have a bunch of Republicans who are like, yeah, I don't trust that guy. And remember, Trump did everything he could to let this guy, hop on the bandwagon that he created of his, immense default popularity with about 30% of the country. And Elon still couldn't do it. So now the chatter is he wants to leave politics. Now, his position as, I forget the exact categorization, non-government employee who's like a government employee or whatever it is, I think that's up on May 30th, right? So he's supposed to sort of leave anyway after that point. Let's see what they have to say here. Elon Musk is reportedly set to leave his government role because he's tired of what he sees as a litany of vicious and unethical attacks from the left, according to a report from the Washington Post. By the way, what he means by that is like when homie did multiple Zig Heils at the inauguration, and people, not just the left, but people all over the spectrum were like, yeah, that was a Nazi salute. He views the viciously attacking me. Why would you call me a Nazi when I'm on Twitter virtually every day responding to actual Nazis with things like, you have told the actual truth. How dare you say such a thing? He talks about low birth rates in the West, wants more white babies, and says, we have too many black and brown babies. Gee, I wonder what that is. A dude who was raised in apartheid South Africa and has some Nazi grandparents, it's not surprising that he's got this hardcore eugenics, racial hierarchy, IQ-obsessed ideology. Which, by the way, is ironic, because if we're really going to have a conversation about IQ in the year of our Lord 2025, I said this the other day. I think at some point in America, there's going to be this mass movement, which is kind of like a eugenics movement, but it's not eugenics along racial lines. I think there's going to be a lot of people who think and say that the more conservative you are, the lower IQ you are, and you should be nowhere near power. Trump is doing everything he can, and Elon's doing everything he can to bring about that generation, to bring about that era. Because normies are looking at this going, I think maybe conservatives are just dumber. Like, I think by default, they are just stupid. All right, let's continue. It remains unclear when Musk will depart as head of the Department of Government Efficiency. Wait, hold on. I thought he wasn't the head of the Department of Government Efficiency. Remember that? Remember that pickle? When he was like, actually, bro, Trump was like, actually, he's not even the head of it. It's this other person. And Elon's like, that's right, sir. I'm not even the head of it. They picked some random woman who was like in the Obama administration. She was on vacation in Mexico with her kids, and she got calls from reporters like, so you're the head of Doge? And she's like, what? Why'd they do that? To try to protect him from the massive amount of litigation because he was doing so many illegal things. So they tried to pretend for 5.5 seconds like, actually, he's not even the head of Doge. His special government employee status will expire at the end of the month. A person familiar with his thinking told the Post that Musk thinks that his work at Doge won't be diminished because of his departure, noting that staffers have already established themselves across a slew of federal agencies. Now, that's a terrifying thought. What he's saying is, doesn't even need me. We're already set up in there. I already got my henchmen and my minions committing all the crimes that I was committing before. But speculation of Musk's possible departure comes as his influence in the administration appears to wane. The New York Times reported last week that the acting commissioner of the IRS was being replaced after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent complained that Musk had his preferred candidate installed without Bessent's support. Musk has also annoyed other cabinet members by failing to coordinate with them in cost-cutting moves. That's the other thing. They all fucking hate him. Marco Rubio hates him. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, hates him. There were reports about these really aggressive fights behind the scenes in meetings where they tell him, you're fucking lying and you're causing damage, and what am I supposed to do with the drama you cause, and I got to deal with the fallout. They hate him. Meanwhile, Wedbush securities analyst Dan Ives has said that Musk should leave his government role and once again focus his efforts on Tesla. More on that in a minute. Arguing the company is facing a code red moment. To be fair, I think it would get even worse if he goes to focus on Tesla, so maybe he should just leave everything. Just a thought. We need your brilliant business mind over here for Tesla. He's not a fucking brilliant businessman. That's a total fucking fraud. Completely built through PR and bullshit and marketing. Quote, Musk needs to leave the government, take a major step back on Doge, and get back to being CEO of Tesla full-time, Ives writes to clients on Sunday, according to Bloomberg. Tesla is Musk and Musk is Tesla, and anyone that thinks the brand damage Musk has inflicted is not a real thing, spend some time speaking to car buyers in the US, Europe, and Asia, and you will think differently after those discussions. In other words, we have hard data on this now. You had over like a 90% drop in some European countries. Some of them are just like, we want to ban Tesla now from being in this country. You also have a drop in the United States. You had massive amounts of vandalism. You had dealerships being burned down. And so the idea, if Elon just goes back to Tesla, he can fix it. No, what would help them fix it is if he says, I'm stepping down from Tesla and I have nothing to do with the company anymore and it's totally in the hands of people who have nothing to do with me. That's what would help Tesla. Tesla has unfortunately become a political symbol globally of the Trump administration and Doge. Ives added, going on to argue that the company faces potentially 15%, 20% permanent demand destruction for future Tesla buyers due to the brand damage Musk has created with Doge. The Post also revealed that some officials refused to comply with Musk's requirement that federal employees send weekly emails listing 5 things they did the previous week. He warned that not sending this email would count as a resignation. However, just 2 days after Musk's order was issued on February 22nd, the Office of Personnel Management stated in a briefing for human resources officers that participation was voluntary and not doing so would not be considered a resignation, as an email obtained by the Post shows. The email also said the office didn't intend to do anything with the messages that were submitted. So he thinks, me, bro, I'm the big boss man, bro. I come in and I say stuff and you do it. I'm the man. You're a bitch. You're my peasant. You're my corpo slave, bitch. This is Elon's ideology. And then you butt up against the reality that the federal government is this massively complex and intricate and huge entity that you can't just go in there and bully your way around. That's not how it works. And then at the same time, you're clashing with the other guy who views himself, correctly because he's the president, as the head man, Donald Trump. And it's like, they're looking at Elon like, you didn't run this shit by anybody. What are you talking? I know people who got that email who work at the government. And they're like, who the fuck is Elon? Like, what? Who are you? Why do you think you're in a position to demand me? I have to write an email and I got to tell people who work under me. You got to write an email to say the things you did. Bitch, you say the things you did. Why are you even in the government? Everything you're doing is illegal. The idea that you can have a government bureaucrat override both Congress and the president and slash whatever funding he wants and kill whatever agencies he wants. We are no longer a constitutional republic and a representative democracy in that instance. He's an emperor, effectively. He's an emperor, overlord, god king, and he can even supersede the word of the president and Congress. It's insane, bro. He should be locked up. These crimes are just, the damage is astronomical. Agencies are now employing different policies, with some agencies having stopped requiring the emails. A smaller number of departments still follow the mandate, while others require emails but don't follow up to check for compliance or track responses in a way that employees have noticed. Many of those who are still sending the emails are sending similar messages each week or are viewing them as a joke. And that's the thing, man, right? Like, he wants total control, he wants complete power, and he also wants to terrorize these government workers into resigning. Because what Elon Musk believes is this: give me all the money, let me loot the treasury, let me and all my robber baron friends do whatever the fuck we want, and then let's destroy the good parts of the government so nobody can check us, nobody can regulate us, nobody can make sure I'm, treating my workers well and I'm not polluting and things of that nature. This is what it's about. This is a power game. It's a power game. All right, but you ready for this? So we get this news. Now, by the way, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical for this reason. I still think that Trump and Elon have some sort of a financial deal. Elon spent $270 million getting Trump elected. There are massive strings attached there, right? And I think the deal was, we're going to get you elected, we're going to keep you out of prison, we're going to help you launch your crypto scam coin, which is going to make you billions of dollars. And then in return for that, you need to let me and my tech broligarch friends effectively run the government and do whatever we want. And I think Trump made that deal. I think he stayed true to that deal, and that's why Elon was able to act a fool and destroy everything, and even he ended up humiliating Trump multiple times, and Trump still couldn't act, right? Remember the video of Trump sucking Elon's toes that was playing on TV at some of the government agencies, and everybody knew about it? If that was anybody else, Trump would have beheaded them immediately and been like, you're fired. So why didn't he? I think the reason he didn't is because there's a financial deal, right? Now, so I'm skeptical. Even if Elon steps away, Elon could still quietly do all the things he's doing. But if it's not that, even if he steps away, I actually think Elon is right. That the damage is done. I already put my guys in there. They already know what they're doing, and they're already rogue, and they're going to stay that way. And Trump is not going to do anything to stop them. Because again, if there's a financial deal, Trump has an incentive to not get these people to stop. Okay, right? But get this. Breaking. Tesla posts a $400 million profit, down 71% year over year. 71. Revenue is down nearly $2 billion compared to the same time last year. $2 billion. Now, by the way, somebody pointed this out. There is an emissions credit that's given to Tesla by the government. If they didn't get that emissions credit, they would have lost money. There would be no profit. So in other words, even with their cooking of the books, the best numbers they could show was a 71% decrease. Revenue down $2 billion. Even with cooking the books, that's the best number they could come up with. So in other words, business-wise, he absolutely is in trouble. Absolutely. And in fact, if the board at Tesla wasn't stacked with Elon sycophants, people who are under his thumb and don't have independent thought, he would have been ousted. He would have been ousted. This is unsustainable for a company. And again, the idea he can come back and fix it, he can only make it worse. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. He tarnished his brand 1,000 times over. Nobody likes him. I've had conversations with people. I mean, remember, Corin himself early on was like, I don't know, maybe we'll get some cool shit. The guy does rockets and whatnot. Maybe he'll come in there and do some cool shit. And then now talk to Corin and he's like, oh my God, this is like the worst man on the planet and the most unlikable man on the planet. And he's destroying everything. That's how the country feels now. So they are barbecue chicken to the max, dog. They put them in the deep fryer. Deep fry them, boil them, bake them, toast them. do everything you can to them. That's where we are. All right, and then finally, I'll leave you with this. Former Tesla engineer says Elon Musk threatened to deport her team for pointing out a problem with the brakes. Quote, he is pure evil. Pure evil. This is who this man is. Again, I know I plug this all the time, but I have to plug it for you guys again. Do yourselves a favor if you are interested in Elon Musk and his depravity and his insanity. There's a YouTuber by the name of Thunderfoot who's done shit. I don't know. Might be in the double digits number of videos on Elon Musk. And just detailing how much of an immense fraud and a liar and a criminal he is. Yes, he is a fraud. He is a criminal. He is a liar. He is a Trump-level liar. Go watch those videos on Elon Musk from Thunderfoot, and then you'll have a much more well-rounded picture of who this guy is and what his mission is. He's basically a con man who conned his way to the top. And now we're all paying the price as a result of it. But at the same time, It's very clear his empire is also quickly crumbling around him. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.